Hello, and welcome to the Cosmic Healing Podcast. So, this conversation with my dear friend, CiCi Seda, is way long overdue. We are soul sisters. Our story of meeting and connection is absolutely incredible and divinely orchestrated for sure. We have so much information to cover in today's podcast. And so before we get started, I just want us all to just kind of take a deep breath. Let's pull ourselves into our bodies, into this moment, into this conversation so that we can be here, all of us, right? Because I know I personally have a lot of energy moving through my body, and which is exactly what we're going to be talking about, Kundalini energy. So CiCi, hi.
Hi, Vaughn.
I want to start first and foremost about our journey of how we even met, because to me it is so literally divinely orchestrated. So we live in the burbs of Atlanta.
Yes.
And I used to host classes in Atlanta. Now I host them all in my home studio.
Yes.
And I was hosting a class all the way in Atlanta, which is like 45 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And I saw this sign up from this girl, CiCi. Yeah. And then I'm like doing a little research, and I'm like, oh my God, like, because when I see new faces like want to work with me, I'm like, who is this woman? Who is she? And I saw you literally were like right up the road from me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? But yet she was coming all the way to Atlanta to experience a class with me. And then you go to Atlanta, we meet. It was incredible. I'll let you tell your part about that.
My experience. Well, I had recently moved up. I was living very, very close to Atlanta, probably like maybe 5 minutes outside of Atlanta. And there was a lot of things that I felt that I was giving up by moving to the burbs of Tequila, Georgia. Yeah. And it was that ability to really connect with the spiritual side of me through Kundalini classes and, having become a Kundalini yoga teacher and all of those things. And as I was moving up, I was like, gosh, I'm really going to miss that. And one of my friends nearby is like, oh, you need to follow Vaughn Pierro, right? And I remember following you, but then of course, like the moving life, all of those things went underway. And I remember back in, it was February, that I was starting to, again, feel anxiety, right? Like just having that anxiety. That's the work. That's what got me into Kundalini, was always feeling these anxious energies and being, but why am I feeling like this? Why, and trying to do all the conceptual work. And I was just like, I'm feeling it. And there you are in my stories sharing that you were doing breath work in Atlanta. And I thought I was going to a meditation class.
That's so cute.
I thought it was going to be a meditation class, and so I was like, maybe, let me just go in and do meditation. Boy, was I wrong. Like, I opened up portals that I had no idea were going to be opening, and I mean, just the nuance of the work of the body, right? The different ways that we are able to connect within ourselves. And while I have connected in different ways, having my first breathwork journey, my holy breathwork journey, like that was, I have no words to express just how much I released.
I just think it's so fascinating. Like, I love this topic because it really does lead us into the conversation of the modalities, the healing tools and modalities that we have that are aplenty, and we always need more than whatever we're experiencing. Like you are a Kundalini teacher, a Kundalini yoga teacher, spiritual teacher, like all these concepts, and so like when you signed up, I had no idea your expertise of working with the body and the breath already, and so I'm just guiding you through like I would guide anyone. And then I just think it's so beautiful that even though you have all of that wisdom within you, I mean, because I think it's a big deal that you're a Kundalini yoga instructor. Like that training
It's intense.
is so freaking intense.
It's intense.
That I would, like if I had known that, I'd probably be like, why is she here? She doesn't need me, But isn't that funny how our mindsets and our limited beliefs of or hierarchy or things like that can put just a kibosh on things? Because I'm really thinking, and if I had known that you were a Kundalini teacher, I'd be like, she already knows all this stuff. I really would have. But you do, right? But it was a certain element of my medicine, right? My medicine that I got to share with you. And now on a weekly basis, you share your medicine with me and all of your students in the studio, which is just absolutely incredible. That to me is the pure, proof of how we heal through each other. You are so powerful, I am so powerful, and yet we still need each other, right?
I 100% agree with that. And there's a part of me, as you were retelling that story, right, reflecting on the journey of my own story. How did I finally connect with the divine, right, within me? And I as I go through that journey, right, it starts with that seeking. I think we all start searching for, why do we feel this way? And in this society and in the way that we have grown, we're always taught to go to the conceptual, right? Our ego, our brain can figure this out, right? What words does my brain use to describe this feeling? And what words do my brain use to do this? And what's the science? And what's written about it? And what is everybody else's knowledge? The knowledge outside of you start searching for. And the more and more that you try to connect to that knowledge outside of you realize you don't know anything. It doesn't bring you peace.
Right.
It doesn't reflect the deep mystery that we all carry within us, that we are here for a reason. We don't know why. And this part is not going to figure it out. It's not, right? And I think as I reflect on that journey, right, starting with that anxiety that I felt after a moment where I thought I got everything I wanted, right? I left a marriage that was very constrictive to me. I finally reached my goals professionally, right? Everybody tells you, go to college, work hard, get your promotion, and then you're happy. And I got the house, and I'm sitting one time at my kitchen table and going, why am I not happy? Why am I anxious? I need to go do something. Let me go to Sedona. Let me go do something, right? And it led me to Reiki. It led me to study scriptures of Hinduism, spirituality, Buddhism, the Tao, all of these things that all of a sudden I started to, as I was reading, realize there was this inner wisdom within me that knew it already. And I just kept seeking and seeking, landed up in Kundalini, noticed that my body actually speaks to you in so many ways, right? And that led me to become a Kundalini yoga teacher and become a somatic coach as well, because we don't realize that is a big part of why we're here. We came here in these bodies to experience, feel, live, energize, connect with that bigger divine part of all of us, with that divine mother and father that truly makes us one.
Yes. It's like emerging, right? Not emerging, but emerging. A coming together of our spiritual self and our physical body. And for me, Kundalini yoga, I had never heard of Kundalini energy before, but the divine orchestration of how I came about Kundalini energy was so beautiful. Someone gave me a gift certificate to this energy healer, and I went, and it was a great energy healing session. But what I was supposed to get from her was she's like, oh, I teach Kundalini yoga on Friday nights right up the road from you. And I was like, what? Where have you been my entire life? Because I'm searching for spiritual people in my community, and plop, thank you God, there she is. And so Friday nights I would show up, and that was a big deal for me to show up on a Friday night to Kundalini yoga, because Friday nights are nights that I hang out with my husband. I know at the time my kids were so much younger. This was probably 7 years ago. So my kids were a lot younger, and I was going out with my friends. Like, so for me to be like me on a Friday night was a really big deal and a huge turning point in my own spiritual relationship with myself. And going to that class, I learned real quick what Kundalini energy is, and I became obsessed. And little did I know how much of that divine feminine energy that was just waiting, like it makes me like was just waiting to be awakened, to be able to move up through me. It's like it, because that Kundalini energy is like, it's a snake, right?
Yes.
And it is coiled at the base of our spine until it is ready to be awakened, and then that energy moves up through your spine from the base of your bottom all the way up through your crown chakra, which is truly the very energy that connects you to the cosmos, you know, from to here on in our human body on Mother Earth, right?
That's right.
So that is the true connection. Like that is the realm of connection that does do the merging, right?
I mean, it's amazing the way that energy comes together. And while there is a big part of it that is linear, right? The activation point is what is called the dantian. And the dantian sits right at your belly button, right where you were connected to your own mother, right? If you notice in Kundalini, we do a lot of breath of fire, right? That pumping, right? And that pumping activates that solar plexus, that navel point with the dantian. And it's like a click of an energy from the root of where you came from, right? And now that energy goes straight to that root chakra, where it collects not only its own energy, but also the energy of our Mother Earth, right? That root, that Earth Star chakra that literally is like a foot below, right? If you've ever seen that Avatar movie and you see them walking and you see that glow, that is the energy as well that helps to activate true Kundalini energy. So it's a mixture of the dantian and a mixture of that Earth Star chakra. And now the movement starts going up. But at the root chakra, something else significantly happens, right? You have what is called the spinal column, that is the sushumna, but you also have these two nadis on the side that are the Ida, which is the mother divine energy, and the Pingala, which is the male father energy. And so these things all connect to bring up energy in this circular snake type motion to connect at your third eye chakra and shoot straight up into the ethers. But it only doesn't do that, right? Like even that, you shake up, but then it comes right back into that. If you've ever seen that Ankh cross from Egypt, right? That Ankh cross, heart center, it comes back and washes over you as you connect. It is so intricately and beautiful how our energy is made to not just awaken the beauty and potential of each individual person, but to connect us to that oneness.
Wow. That is incredible. So, as the Kundalini energy is being awakened, because I feel like I've had different versions of I get super okay. I was about to get distracted, but what I was going to say is we have different levels of awakening of our Kundalini energy. I know I personally I feel like I'm going through a next level of my Kundalini energy awakening now. Like even more is expanding because I have the capacity within my body for it to expand. I have the safety within my body for that energy to expand. Because if all of a sudden I felt this surge of energy like of me last year, I'd be like, I can't handle it. Like literally your body cannot handle it. And that's why this healing work never ends because we are always expanding. We are always evolving. We are always showing up for ourselves and meant to be showing up for ourselves. All right. This never, ever ends. And it takes me to a moment that you and I had very recently.
Yes.
I have, my monthly Holy Breath Sister Circles here. And you have committed, like you have been showing up every single freaking month, girl. And again, it's like you are so wise. Like to me, like it's like you got this, It's like you don't really need to be coming to every month, but it's like no, like you know that you do, and you are honoring that. And a few months ago, I guess it's probably been a few months now or two.
Back in May.
Yeah.
I remember that one. That's a big life-changing moment
that
in May.
was huge. You were here, and again, I just think it's so fascinating the way spirit moves through our bodies, and we were in here in our space, and it was towards the end of the class. Like we had already had all of our profound ahas and experiences. And I go over to you, and what happened?
I came in that day really just coming in for just a little bit of breath work, nothing major. I do want to say one thing really, really quick, right? Because you mentioned the Kundalini yoga and you mentioned the breath work. But emotions?
Oh gosh.
Emotions take
so
double, triple, third prongs approach, right? We can have a pranic energy healer. We can do breath work.
Right.
We can do Kundalini. It takes a lot to release emotion. And I think that's a good precursor for that because I have a Kundalini practice every day. And so I'm able to bring myself into this very calm, peaceful place, right? That can help me manifest. But sometimes that emotional gunk, right? It gets stuck deep within that fascia, deep within that tissue. And so outwardly, to perform in society and go to work every day and live my life and whatever, sometimes we put on the mask, right? Yeah. And so to me, when I came into that class, I was fine.
Yeah.
Right? And I was actually coming in to help support another sister that came, and I was like, oh, we can spend some time together. And all of a sudden, as I went into the meditation, and I had this thing to even elevate it, right? Because you guide us through, but sometimes I was like, oh, we gotta kick this up a notch today.
Right, yeah.
Wow, sister, what were you thinking? We needed to wake up something that day. And I just remember thinking that it was my it was my left side that was in pain. And having like this whole thing, and I'm even pointing, notice, right? Because this is the key part. Notice where I'm pointing at. Yeah. It was my left side, and it was like in so much pain, and it was like a whole side thing. And it was, I kept just seeing this divine mother energy, like just blasting through me and feeling the pain and just going, oh my gosh, like, what have I done to the side of myself? And it was such a potent breath work. Probably the second potent after the first one that I did. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what happened, right? And I remembered running out of here because I had like things to do that day. And then that night I fall in bed and I'm like, why is my whole right side in pain? Yeah. Like, why am I in this pain on my whole right side? And I call her up the next day and I'm like, Vaughn, I need to talk to you. I need to process what happened yesterday. And I remember at the end of the class, you saying that it was this huge Kundalini upgrade, right? Yes. You were like in shock because you were like, wait, I'm going to tell the Kundalini yoga teacher. She just had a whole Kundalini upgrade.
Right.
My Ida blasted my pingala. Correct terms. My Ida blasted my pingala. My Ida was like, masculine, we are taking over.
Right, exactly. Okay, because I speak all the time of masculine and feminine energy. Feminine is on the left side, and that's the what?
Feminine is the Ida. The Ida, not the moon side.
Okay,
right?
And then the right side is masculine.
Is the masculine sun structures.
Okay, and what's it called again in Kundalini?
But
or
Pingala.
the Pingala. Okay.
Pingala.
So your Ita knocked your Pingala. But it really was
into
like
shape.
But that's the beautiful thing. Okay, so if you're able to watch on YouTube, like you can see how we're talking about this circular energy, right? And so as her energy is rising, and where that the masculine, we'll just say masculine, where the masculine energy was still like too tightly bound to like freely let that Kundalini energy rise through it. It's like that feminine energy came in and was like, and then that is what was like able to like integrate the two energies together. And I mean, I'm telling you, like ever since that, like your whole world has been upside down.
Maybe be put right side up.
Right, yeah.
Because it was upside down. It was getting put right side up.
Yeah. And, you know, talking to that point of your masculine energy, like where have you been with your masculine energy leading up to this point in your life currently? And how were you exhausting it, suppressing your feminine energy? Like how were you suppressing all of these things and wanting more? Like what were you wanting and desiring that was blocking you that now has like feels more clear?
You know, that story took me a little bit to process, because like I think so many of us women that have had to provide for ourselves, that have had to leave marriages that were not serving them, and that insecurity forces us to step into that masculine, right? You got to make it in a man's world.
This is so huge, because I know there are so many women listening that resonate. I know I certainly did. Even though I have a nice provider, you know, but I still, the pressure that I put on myself to work and to provide and to serve and to, from a place of just like, this is what I gotta do, you know, like, because it's so ingrained in us. You know, and so, all right, so go ahead.
I'm going to step into that and say it is very ingrained in us, because what happens to this world if we continue to let it tell us that we have to work, provide, right? We lose power in our femininity.
Yes.
We really lose power in our femininity. And so after my 21-year divorce, I really like went full-fledged into my career and built my career not only from that manscape. I think the feminine served me well just from that deep inner wisdom, resolve myself, but the masculine within me always had to hold things together. And I just remember just being in that control part, and that part of myself where I had to keep that masculine wound tight. It was at the forefront. Masculine first, then I can let myself be feminine. But the masculine ruled my world. And as events unfolded in the last 2 years of my life, I started to realize that energy isn't serving me. That energy isn't sustaining me. The more that I worked with my Kundalini, the more that I worked through breathwork classes, the more that I really started to tune into the cosmos, I realized in my heart, like, I wanted that feminine part of me back. That's my essence. That is who I am. Right? But I just didn't know how. And I was so full of still maintaining that security for myself and not allowing myself to surrender to that masculine, or understanding and recognizing that even in that surrender, that masculine figure that I had in my life wasn't ready for this feminine figure to really come in. And so I had to let go. And I remember as events unfolded in my life where I was changing my relationship and coming back and sort of feeling that nudge to get back into the masculine, and recognizing this part of me that is saying, stay still, trust, right? And leaning into the feminine. So that is what that session awoke up within me. And it was so potent and strong. and I have felt its elevation. I have seen the synchronicities in my life. And it goes from within.
Yeah.
Within.
Yeah.
Within us is all of this knowledge. We need each other.
Yes.
We need each other to uncover it for each other.
Yeah, it is. That is our mission in this life, is because everything you just described about that desire of the divine feminine energy to be safe, for you to be who you are, because at your essence, that's who we are. We are a divine feminine being. Yes, we are divine masculine. We have all energies.
Yeah, we do.
But at the core, that is we're creators. You know, like why do we act like we're not divine feminine, and you know, like, well, no, you know, and like making all these excuses or whatever. That's all they are, is excuses, because we are creators. We are the creatix of our own lives. And you will only be able to access that when you are allowing that creative energy to move through you, that birthing, that nurturing, that divine essence of who you are move through you. And that's where the divine masculine comes into play, so that divine feminine can be held and supported and been like, oh, you want to do that? Okay, here, let's go do that. Yes. Let's go show the world who you are. Let's prove to yourself who you are and what you are capable of. Yes. Like, even before we, you know, taking the rest of the world out of it, like, let's just bring it home so that you can know within yourself your own capabilities. And prove it over and over and over to yourself. And I know that is what I'm doing. And that's why I'm so excited about sharing it, because and the innocence and the excitement about it is so real. Because I'm like, I didn't know this version of myself existed.
Think about that for 1 minute.
I did not know this version of myself existed. Just like you had no idea this version of you existed. Just like you watching and listening had no idea that this version of you that you are currently living exists. And the version of you that exists a week from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. Like, allow yourself to be fully mind blown and surprised and excited about the next version of yourself, but you will only connect to that version of yourself when you allow her to move through you and to show you and to teach you and to guide you what is next and what is available. And this truly is divine feminine energy. Yes. And that's why it's important to heal your divine feminine energy, because she has been suppressed due to the patriarchy, due to the pounding of conditioned beliefs, religious, political patriarchy that has been pounded upon us. Pounded so much that it has resonated down into Mother Earth as well. Like, we have all been suppressed. Even the men in our life, especially even the men in our life, they, bless their sweet precious souls, they have been suppressed. Yes. They have that same feminine energy, a creative energy pulsing through them as we do. They too are divine feminine. You know, and so it's like, as that suppression, it's like we just can't take it anymore. Mother Earth, Gaia cannot take it anymore. And so that is why she is revolting. That is why she is evolving. That is why she is rising. And she is rising up through us, shaking off everything that does not belong, every trauma, every rape, every pillaging that has been manifested through us is rising. And we are here to be the vessels of that transformation.
Vaughn, no more important words have been said. And as I'm listening to that message, and I hope that your listeners are really grasping that, it calls for this inner trust. It calls for us going against the grain of what we have been told to believe us, and to really honor the body and the wisdom.
The inner wisdom, yes. Which all brings us back to that Kundalini energy.
Yes, that Kundalini energy is coursing through your body so that you feel your body. Your body is not your enemy. Your body is the most beautiful, creative, masterful masterpiece. We think about how we can go outside and look at the color of the sky and go, how beautiful it is. How we can sit by an ocean and recognize how beautiful it is. How we can stop by a flower and recognize how beautiful it is. But go tell a man he's beautiful just because you see him. Or go be told by a man that you're beautiful, and you automatically think that something may be wrong. But we are God's most beautiful manifestation. And the reason that he created us in these bodies with this wisdom of ego for survival, with this heart full of love, with this gut wisdom and energy of Kundalini, was so that we can feel our inner truth within ourselves. Each and every one of us is beautifully originally made. We are not here to conform to what is told outside of us. We are not here to be pawns in corporate America to fill the pockets of a few. We are here to express ourselves in the most beautiful, radiant, original way that is our soul's calling. And the most magnificent thing happens when we honor that soul's calling. Not only do we create a better world, but we are literally happy beyond compare. We are just radiating joy. Literally.
Yeah. Literally, truly. Like the amount of joy and abundance that I feel in my life is mind-blowing to me. And it's so true. It is so sincere. It is not fake. I'm not putting on a show for anybody, because I could be here all by myself and be in the most joy-filled abundance. But this is the most important part to understand. Within that joy-filled abundance, I give myself the same right, and I know you do too, to feel the depths of my pain, of my fears, of my shame, of my shadow, of everything that is like wanting to crawl up out of me to be revealed and seen, like that darkness aspect of myself. Like that part of myself makes me joy filled, because I see her with so much fucking love and respect that it's like, I just love you so much.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, like I want to know more of me. So it's like when all that darkness arises, I'm like, show me. Like that gives me joy to see that. And for that, I am so proud of myself, because I have worked so hard to be able to get to that level of safety within my nervous system, to be able to go into the depths of my darkest places with joy. What a freaking dream is that?
That's a journey, isn't it? I mean, just as you were saying those powerful words, right, reminded me of when I was sitting at that kitchen table. What was I fighting? I was fighting not wanting to feel the negative emotions, because we have been told the negative emotions are bad. They're never going to lead you to any good. But there is so much information, right? When we're angry, that's our own like signal. I'm feeling anger, right? And talking about that recent experience, I have let off so much rage that I have kept hidden in myself because I'm like, oh, nobody needs to listen to that rage. It's not positive. But that rage was information for me of where it was that I was not honoring myself, where it was that I was being taken advantage of. Anger is information about where we are dishonoring ourselves, right? And sadness is grief with nowhere to go. So if we don't release it, right? I mean, I think about loss and love. Like when we cry, when we let out that full grief, we let it out because it's inside our body. It is not going to go away. It's love with nowhere to go.
That should be like a written poem or something. That was so beautiful.
It is, and it is in going through that feeling and going through that experience. I think ever since May, I have let myself go through a range of emotions that I would stuff down and cover up with positive energy and been like, forget this, I am going to let it all out. And
because the masculine energy could hold your feminine energy, right? Like that's exactly powerful. What this conversation is. Because your masculine energy was healing and being active. It's like it had no choice but to see your feminine energy and to see and witness and to be like, oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. I see you, girl. Okay. I see you. Oh my God, do I see you? I hold you. Whereas you were rejecting those aspects of yourself, right? Like, because the masculine couldn't hold it. It wasn't healed. It wasn't open. It wasn't mature enough. It wasn't healed enough to be able to see and hold such a divine ass feminine woman. And through that masculine energy and healing of your Kundalini energy, like that masculine side was forced to see and hold you. And now from that day forward, you are being held by yourself. You don't feel alone. You feel supported. Yes. Right? Like, oh my God, that is so fascinating. Yes. And even just thinking about my own healing of the masculine energy. I mean, of course, I had so much of my own feminine energy to heal and to work through and to nurture and awaken. But it was really through my masculine energy healing that aspect of me that I have come into the fullness of myself, because I feel held by me. I feel held by the divine masculine and feminine within myself. I am safe here. Oh, damn, this is good.
That was beautifully put. That was so beautifully put. My body is listening to you and going, the tingles of like just the honest truth of that measure, and just even for myself, just this reflection of how far I've come to get to May. Yeah. And how far I've come from May till now. Yeah. And seeing that unfolding and knowing this is the path. Yeah. This is the path that we all take. And this is why it is our responsibility to share these practices and these gifts that have existed for generation, right? That I could tell you from one of my breathwork experiences, I've been burned at the stake for trying to bring to the public. But this is why it is so important, because when we do this for each other, we lift all the negative that is currently facing our world today. Yeah.
Yes. And I think this conversation is such a testimony to healing all aspects of yourselves. You know, like, yes, I lean towards the divine feminine energy, but, you know, and healing those aspects, but it's such a natural flow of energy, you know, now that we're even speaking into this conversation even more. It's like that divine feminine has to heal first and foremost, to rise up through us, to be the very thing to awaken the divine masculine into having the capacity and the emotional maturity to be able to hold such a divine being, right? Like it's so deep. It's so deep, this masculine and feminine energies and the way they are meant to work together, and the depths of how it keeps getting to go deeper within, and the knowledge, like right now, like for me, the gnosis, I love that word. It's one of my favorite words now. It's GNOSIS. The gnosis, which is the the knowing within, that is penetrating and awakening in my whole body, is actually awakening even more of my masculine energy to be able to hold this wisdom. But it's awakening through my feminine because I'm curious and I'm seeking and I'm looking for that deeper gnosis within. And the more that I'm cultivating it inside and I'm receiving this information, because our feminine energy is our receiving side. So the more I'm receiving this energy and this knowledge that already exists within me, but it's like I'm receiving it and it is awakening within me, that masculine energy has no choice but to be like, oh, okay, we're learning this, we're teaching this, we're growing with this now. Okay, it's like we just keep growing and holding more and more, and the capacity just keeps getting greater and greater.
What you said also like reminded me of the importance of that balance, right? Let's face it, the original mother was this Shakti energy. That Shakti, uncontrollable, intense blast, right? That brought our cosmos to even existence. But it took that masculine to form it. It took that masculine to provide it, the structure, the home, the ability, not
the whole universe, right? Like the masculine and feminine aspects of God, creator, like that Shakti that was like, oh, here's a great idea. And then that masculine, that Shiva energy that is like the creator, that is just like, okay, well, let's get to work and do this.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
I don't know what you just said, but it was good.
Basically, that honor to Shiva, because his masculine energy, right? The Shakti and the Shiva that come together at that point. It was
oh my God, why am I getting like so like hot right now?
Because it is hot. He is hot. I mean, this is what he did. He knew what to do with that Shakti. He knew what to bring to that Shakti to contain it and to destroy everything that did not fit. He's called the destroyer as well, right? Because he's going to break down what doesn't work. And he needs to, right? Because that feminine creative energy, as beautiful as it is and as nurturing and as it's releasing, right? It can go into the depths of the wild if it's not held by the masculine, right? Just as the masculine, in controlling it, stops everything, diffuses, it stops creation. And so bringing those things together in the beautiful harmony that they are supposed to be. I mean, we are living sex. We are living coitus. We are a living orgasm. And as we live that, right, as we take in the tantra, the love of the body, and we take that orgasm, not just from our sexual organs, but like literally release it through every part of our being. There's nothing more beautiful.
Which reminds me of so many conversations I've had with myself this year in particular, of the message of make love with life. So when I am doing laundry, when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm feeling pressure to do something, you know, and I can just shift and take that pressure off and just be like, make love. How can I make love with life in this moment in all that I am doing, whatever I am doing? Make love with life. Everything like what you just said, make love with life. Be in constant orgasmic state of being.
And can I tell you, that's how we know. That is an indicator that we are not living into full alignment. When we lose that inner ability to have this coitus with life, to have this intercourse with life. So use that too as a tool. If you're not feeling sexual energy, that means you're not creating. That means you need to clear. That means you need to go into the body and awaken that, because that awakening is not just for, you know, the coitus part. It is for you to create in this life, right? It is for you. That's your calling, to balance that divine feminine and divine masculine within you.
Which is Tantra, which is the Tantra of life.
Which is Tantra. Yes. Yes. I mean, we can get really deep into this energy and how, as women, we awaken that within men, and how that powerful part of it comes together. That may be a whole other episode. But like, that is the basis of it. That is, that Kundalini energy is the basis of Tantra. Tantra is what you feel in the body, how you create within your body. And when you recognize that, and it starts with fully loving yourself, your body, this body that you came in with, loving it, making love to it yourself, it starts there. That's why we breathe. That's why we do Kundalini energy. That's why we do all the things. Yes.
All the things. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been a very enlightening conversation and so activating. I'm so activated right now, actually. So if you are, do what you got to go do to take care of, you know, that energy that is pulsing through your body. But I, you know, CiCi, every time we're together, I feel like our souls are just literally like holding hands and twirling around and dancing and singing, and I'm just so grateful and honored, like, at the divine orchestration that you said yes to moving to this community when you were like, I don't really want to move back there, and me being here, and us just both saying yes and continuing to say yes. Another one of my favorite stories of us is, you know, Kundalini yoga has played a huge part in my life. Like, it really awakened me. And so meanwhile, that girl totally disappeared. She taught for like 6 months, and I was loyal every Friday. And then she like, poof, was gone. And I was like, okay, but she served me well, right?
Yeah.
And then in come you into my life. And I invited you. I was like, you're a Kundalini teacher. Oh my God, I love Kundalini yoga. Come into my studio and teach. And so will you share about like when you were going through your Kundalini yoga teacher training and how you thought you weren't doing it to teach?
Oh yeah. So I studied in California with these old, well, one of them is old. Hari Jivan has been around for a long time, but I studied with Guru Jagat and Tej, and they really got that wisdom in the beginning. And I went from Guru Jagat just because her presence online and some of her messages like really resonated with me. And so I flew into California with my daughter, and we spent 7 full days for 12 hours in a room, not only doing Kundalini exercises, but learning, being poured into. I mean, the activations that happened were amazing. And I just remember Guru Jagat going to me, and it's like, what are you doing with this? And I was like, it was for my own inner work. Like, I was getting so much wisdom connecting with my body and feeling into my body and learning how to relax, learning how to be still. I always had this fantasy that I was going to meditate, but it wasn't until I started doing Kundalini that I understood what meditation was. And so I said, I'm doing this for myself. And she turned around to me again, and she, like, for a moment, and went like, there's someone that is going to ask you to teach.
That's me.
Don't say no. And Vaughn asked me to teach, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, honestly, I will say, like, while our Kundalini classes are amazing, and I have gotten, you know, to really embrace the space and create magic, the activations that happen within those students, and if you have been here for Kundalini classes and you have seen our very own Vaughn get activated, I mean, the healing that happens in these spaces, the entities, the beautiful energies, spiritual ancestors, angels that visit us through the channeling. I mean, There are no
It's
words.
been profound. It's been
profound.
It has elevated me, like you said. I mean, like the way that, all right, because I forget what happens, but so I know that there were two very specific, like that was our theme. We were working with those energies, the Hindu gods and deities, stuff like that, and I was like, next thing I know, like channeling through me. So who Lakshmi, right, was one of them.
Lakshmi was one of them. I think that was the first one where we were doing sort of like a goddess and talking about the I think it was a solar plexus class where we were just like really about abundance in our lives. And I mean, I just did a very small thing on Lakshmi and really just concentrated on the physical form, and then all of a sudden, like, boom,
Lakshmi was up in my body, pouring blessings into each one of the students that was here. And that was the click, right? Like where there was an unlocking. Yeah. So she was going on about the thing, and I was like, hold on, Lakshmi's here with us. Lakshmi went through me, through each student, and made this click sound, turning my hands to the right to unlock something within each person. Yes. And it was so different. It was so beautiful. And I was like, that's cool. Never channeled Lakshmi before.
It was magical because you understood her. I mean, obviously, but she channeled it to you. But it was like, as I'm looking for it, right? And I've studied these goddesses and gods in the Hinduism just so much from my own reservoir of how I came to understand them. To see the pure channel in which the embodiment of them was exactly as I envisioned it. And I mean, then the second one was when we just chanted Om Gam Ganapataye, and all of a sudden you were enough, and I was like, you just called in Ganesh. Yes, we are unblocked. This is he unblocks every blockage in your life, right? Talk about like such a huge, like amazing channel. And it was just like, wow, to step into these things and to recognize it, right? Because all we're doing is recognizing it. These energies exist outside of us, and they're communicating with us as much as they can, but we have to be ready to receive. The elevation of your receivership is amazing, Vaughn.
Well, thank you. I will say I have been this has been the year that Vaughn elevated her channeling abilities, because what I channel, how my body can hold things are blowing my mind. But it's such a testimony to like the self-trust that I've cultivated within myself and with spirit. It's just so beautiful, so mind-blowing, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm just like, and it's like, only holy, beautiful, godly things are welcome in my sphere. And it's like, I just exude that. So it's like, I don't even worry about anything negative. It's like, I am so pure, like of heart, that it's like, it truly is it gets to happen so fast. And I think that's the shift. Like, I've just cleared out so much, and I'm just so open that it's just like, whoosh, and it's all beautiful. And it's like, let's make some magic. Okay, bye.
It is profound.
It is.
Trust.
It's crazy.
It is profound trust. And I know that, maybe some people listening to like, how do I get there? How do I do that? And there is that work involved, but it really starts with that nudge of trust, not in the things outside of you, but in the things inside of us. We have such a hard time. I've had such a hard life trusting myself. But it is leaning. It's
literally like, you are in everything that we do and we show up for, we are cultivating self-trust. And that is why it is so important that we take those steps, that we show up for the things, that we do things scared, because every scared thing we do, we are cultivating a deeper self-trust within. And you have to have that to be able to go into the depths of your healing journey. to awaken your Kundalini energy, for that to be able to feel safe, to be welcomed, to move freely through your body. You know, like if there's like, oh shit, like, you know, like don't, who are you? What's moving through me right now? Like, no, that's that self-trust has got to be there to be like, I am safe here. You are safe here. Let's go. Yeah. So good. Okay. So you are here, you know, most Thursdays for Kundalini Yoga in my home studio. If you are local, I know we have attempted talking about virtual Kundalini Yoga, which I think would be incredible and needed.
Yes. I think I have a couple of travels in the next couple of months, but I think sometime in the middle of October, I'm going to announce a 40-day meditation because it helps to like really connect.
What is that called?
It's called sadhana, but like it's done, usually it's done first thing in the morning, but sometimes in this life, sometimes that doesn't allow that, right? But I'm feeling called to bring in together like a 40-day virtual program where it'll be maybe just like 30 minutes to help people just start understanding that Kundalini energy, right? I mean, the more we do it, the more we dedicate it. But again, it's about trusting that nudge. And sometimes a lot of people start this path too much too soon, and it takes away from it. But I will be putting together a virtual 40-day sadhana to help us end the year and start 2025 on a beautiful note. And it is really going to be just about gratitude and trust in the body. Just starting that path of understanding. And if you have struggled to meditate, right? This is how I sort of started with it. People tell you, oh, sit and meditate. What are you? The mind chatter goes insane, right? This is a great first step for you because it really helps to bring that energy. And for you to be able to agree.
Yeah. It's a beautiful practice. I love it so much. And I mean, of course it has supported me because it is the very thing that exists within me that is knocking on all of our doors saying, hello, I am here. Wake me up. Let me move through you so that I can show you all of the magic and the energy that actually exists within you already. Oh, so beautiful.
It is. And, you know, that's the start. And if you're ready to work in that deeper, I will also work with people one-on-one through an embodied somatic Kundalini practice.
Perfect. And you bring in human design, astrology, Kundalini yoga, somatic practices. Girlfriend is a whole vibe over here.
Prescriptive. One of my beautiful friends named it a spiritual therapy, and I may take her up on it.
I love it.
Thank you, Kelly, if you're listening.
I love it. Well, thank you, CiCi. And of course, I just want to peep in really quick so you know how this conversation even happened, because you know how spirit speaks to me and I'm just such a spur of the moment kind of girl. It's Thursday, new episode goes out tomorrow. I knew I was going to record an episode today, you know, because that's how I do it. And I have this new card deck that is Kali. Is it Kali or Kali? Kali.
Yeah. Goddess Kali.
She is the divine mother, but she is the wild divine mother.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's
the dark mother.
Yeah, she is powerful. So anyway, I've been working with her energy lately to really let go of some ego things, some negative conscious beliefs, stuff like that. And so she is definitely, I'm just feeling very drawn to her energy. So I'm working with her right now. So I shuffled my cards. I said, what does my podcast on the Cosmic Healing Podcast today, what do the listeners need to hear? What does this conversation need to be today? And so I shuffle my cards, and the card is Kundalini Shakti. And I'm reading through, I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds amazing. I'll talk about that all day, every day. And then it got to literal Kundalini. And I'm like, Kundalini. And I was literally taken aback. I was like, CiCi. And so I texted her and I was like, what are you doing right now? It was 11:11 when I messaged her and said, what are you doing right now? Can you record a podcast?
Here on my lunch break.
And then here we are 2 hours later recording a podcast. You're welcome. And that, my friend, is called trust and surrender and being in flow with your creative, divine feminine and divine masculine energy as you get episodes like this. Boom.
Boom. I'm feeling a Kali Kundalini class coming on
yes.
very shortly.
Yes.
First week in October when I come back.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, CiCi. I love you so much. I'll make sure I put your Instagram, Facebook handles in there. And so whenever you do have offerings, people are connected to you.
Thank
you. And this is also available on YouTube. So if you want to see us IRL in, full expression, come tune in to the YouTube channel. And thanks for being here. Bye.